Hey everybody, thank you for watching my videos. Today I wanted to talk about an opportunity that I had this past March. On March 7th, up in Kansas City, I was able to meet Charlie Craven. This was thanks to a friend. The opportunity arose, and he extended the offer, and so I was able to attend the event, and I'm very thankful for it. I actually already had Charlie Craven's nymph book, Tying Nymphs, so I took it with me. Was able to get it signed, which I'll show you, and I'll put some pictures up here. Got my picture with Charlie, and so he wrote there, to Justin, keep them deep, and then sign down here, and then on everybody's draws a picture of a trout right there. So. Really cool and appreciative of that. The whole event was funny and educational. The way that Charlie explains the flies and why he ties them the way that he does, and the purpose in it and stuff, it is really unique and beneficial to anybody that has the opportunity to listen to him. And of course, he has the YouTube channel here and stuff, but if you ever have the opportunity to see him, in person, definitely take that. So me and a friend traveled up there, and we got there early. Kind of were the first ones, in the door and everything. And the event was, I think it was like from 8 or 9 a.m. to like 3 in the afternoon. I think it was from 9 to 3. And it was just a casual event, everybody, tables, and Charlie at the front of the room, and somebody would, shout out a fly, and he would tie it. And so the ones that he actually tied, I made a list here, was the Fat Angie, the Screaming Banshee, Jujubatus, the Lucky Bee, 9-pound Hammer, the Charlie Boy Hopper, and the Baby Ganga. Somebody had mentioned the 2-bit hooker, and he actually didn't have the materials for that one. I think he'd left them at home. But yeah, he would, just like, talk to us and stuff. It wasn't like a lecture or anything and stuff. It was, very informal, and, anyone had a question, he, answered and explained them and everything. And like I said, he's very funny. He'd be like, if you have any questions, wait till the end, to ask them and stuff. They make me nervous, something like that. Everybody kind of laughs. And, but then he explained how all the flies that he has or that he's created got their names and everything. And that they're named after, people that he knows. The Fat Angie, I believe, is named after his sister, who he said isn't fat. And so he went through a couple of those, he's tying and everything. And, the room was kind of quiet, and, somebody, who'd you name the 2-bit hooker after? And so he explained that and stuff, that it was actually a friend's, wife. He had apparently been fishing it for several years. He tied it, named it after her. And then when he submitted the fly to Umpqua, I believe, they didn't care for the name, and so he had to change it, and ended up coming up with 2-bit hooker, and then submitting it. They liked it and everything, and then after that he then remembered, oh yeah, it was named after her. And so real funny story. I'm not sure if he mentions that on his channel somewhere, but yeah, so it was a great experience. Somebody asked him what his top 5 flies were, that day or at the current time. And he said it'd be the Parachute Adams, Jujubatus, Charlie Boy Hopper, the 2-bit hooker, and the Baby Ganga. So I took some notes and everything, and like I said, got some pictures. It was a great opportunity. I'm thankful to Charlie for coming to Missouri, and doing that presentation and everything. So with that, I thought I'd do a tie-in with this video. And I would tie the Charlie Boy Hopper. So let me show you that. All right. So to tie the Charlie Boy Hopper, you will use a size 8 or 10 hook. This one that I'm using is a size 8. You will also need tan foam. Mine's kind of brown. He uses 2 millimeter. All I have is 1 millimeter, so I have glued 2 together. You will cut out a piece that is about the same width as the hook, and then he said about 3 inches. What I did was I measured the hook 3 times roughly. Then you also need deer hair, tan thread. I have brown, and then tan rubber legs. The closest I have are these striped ones. So I have also tied this using green legs and green thread, and then also just like some sort of a scrap piece of foam, little square. Doesn't matter what color. It's going on the hook to help grip it. So what you will do is you take the foam body, and about a 1/2 inch down on it, you will put the hook through right in the center there. So kind of like that. And then you will put the hook in the vise. There we go. Okay, kind of bend it like that. And then you can take the thread, cover the hook shank. And I may actually cut that a little bit shorter. That way it can kind of fit comfortably. And while I'm at it, why not I just cut that tag end off there? Okay. So bring it back to the bend of the hook. Then just a couple of wraps to hold that down. Then I go back over it. Oop, come on now. There we go. And I tie it down more. So now, with the thread still here at the back, at the bend of the hook, you will then turn the foam like that, and you're going to push up the tail end up to where your thread is at the bend of the hook. You're then going to take this, the body of it, and you're going to kind of push up. And then you can see where I pushed into the eye of the hook, and so it made that dent there. And then with some sort of knife or a tool, this one has glue on it, so I'm not going to use it. I'll just use my scissors. You're going to puncture the hole through it. And then you'll put the eye of the hook through that and kind of bend up the tail. You're going to do a little bit more of that here in a second. So now you'll take some super glue, you put like a drop on there, but you're going to do that body right there, but then you're also going to do up the tail. As he said, the body may have a gap, and that's fine. It's this tail part that you really want to seal on there. So I'm just making sure it's covered. And then you're going to push it back lay it on itself, and you're going to curve that tail up. So it'll be like that. Kind of just hold it there for a few seconds. Make sure it's sealing up. Okay. Just going to give it a second. Then you'll take the thread, you'll go around it, so you're going to tie it on there. And then what you're going to do is basically wrap it around 3 times. So there's going to, there's going to be a tail, and then 3 segments, and then the head. So, oh, that would have been a mistake. I was around the hook. So let me wrap that around again. That would have been a problem. Okay, so then we're going to go around another segment. And then another segment. And one more. Actually, before we do that, so we got the 1, 2, the 3, you're going to do one more. But before that, we're going to put the legs on, is what we're going to do. But before we do that, with this bent up, you're going to take a razor blade and you're going to cut straight. So the tail is going to be level with the body. It's going to look like it's at an angle, but there we go. So it looks like it curves up, but it's flat. So now that that section's out of the way, I wanted to make sure that we did that first, because now we're going to put on the legs, and you don't want obviously these legs in the way and end up cutting them, and so the back legs will hang off a little bit further. So we have them in the front there, a little bit longer in the back. So now they are tied on in that segment, that wrap. But now we're going to wrap another time and hold them down again. So as you can see, they are wrapped here and here, so they are twice held down. So we think the back ones will trim up a little bit later. So also along with this one, so again we have the tail, 3 sections of body, and the head. So now we're going to take the deer hair, and I get a clump. This might be a little light, but enough where it's going to cover the body there. And I've fished these before, and with the foam body and the deer hair, it ain't sinking. It always floats. So this is a tool I have to get out that under fluff, that dubbing. It's just a piece of the rough Velcro on a stick. One of the members of our fly fishing organization made everybody these. Okay, get out these last little ones, and then take that, and then I'm going to cut them flush. So then we will take it just a little bit onto the top of the head. Gonna fan them out a little bit, and that's a couple of them are shorter, so they're gonna come out. That's my bad. So again, we're tying it down there. And now this is where you would do a whip finish. But again, need to practice doing a whip finish, because in so many videos, and there's still some underfluff. That's great. I'll go back through before I fish it and make sure all that's out. But I need to practice more of the whip finish, because like I said, I always do the half hitches. So then I'm going to go through, need a little bit more super glue. Just going to kind of cover all that. Just going to wrap it around the hole, or dab a little bit on just on this first one. So there we go, and snip that off. So there you go. But the most important part, and he says this in his video, and he told us this a couple of times as he was tying in front of us and everything, you want to put eyes on it. Otherwise it's not going to cast right, because you want it to be able to see where it's going. So there we go. Trying to do a little bit longer eyes. A little bit large, but so that right there is the Charlie Boy Hopper. So again, it was a great opportunity to be able to meet Charlie Craven in person, and to hear him teach and everything, give instructions and advice, and explain why he ties it the way that he does. So it was a great opportunity. I'm really thankful for it. If you have the chance to see him in person, definitely take that opportunity. So again, thank you guys for watching.